he also told us he's talked to you before. Anyway,
Yes, we
back
had
to Jesse
neighbors
Moore.
that sweet
Who on
kids.
this board's taking, who you seen taking pictures? I've not been up there taking pictures.
I haven't either.
I don't know.
Who was it?
We've had several people up there at that church taking photos. And we invite you, come to our home. Come to our
It
home.
was us.
Yeah, well, the vehicles match. Come to our home. We'll show you. We're, full disclosure, we don't want a lawsuit. But folks, we're doing our due
We would encourage
diligence.
you to come to our house.
Every time they adjust the pressure of that pump that runs up Lewis Lane or redirects that water, we're flooded out. And if we're not being flooded out, the road across the way is being flooded out. And that's what they found this morning again.
When will you have your written report from the gentleman from this morning?
Do you not have a copy of the geologist report?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But the report this morning.
From the health
Oh, he's still out
supervisor?
there.
He's out there. He's
Okay.
supposed to be coming
Okay.
to give you a report.
Okay.
And all the individuals that were out there at our home this morning, Scott Moore with the health department for Harrison. Scott is even though he's had conversations with several of you here, he is now realizing that there's a serious water problem at the health department. Sam Dunn was out there. He's with Ozark, Arkansas Department of Health. He's an environmental specialist and water specialist. He said he talked with you, Doug.
Who is he?
And Craig Croder, he talked to you. Is that right?
His name ain't Croder, but yes, he did talk to me. Who
Right
was-
there, Corder, right there.
Yeah, he
Craig Corder.
He talked to me.
Okay,
Who was the other one?
okay.
May I make
And then we
copies
also
of
spoke
those?
with Michael Sullivan. See, that's the problem, Miss Turner. We keep doing y'all's work, and the shell game has got to end. Because see, trust me when I tell you right here, we're a full disclosure. We tried to do this with an out and adversarial situation. Okay. We want the same thing you as a board would want. But we can't continue living in our home under the present conditions without any help from this board.
Okay.
And yes, we will be happy to make copies of this. And one last little thing. When you go home tonight, and I said this to these gentlemen here, and you flush your commode, and you prepare your dinner, and you take your shower, and wash your hands, you think about what we're going through at our home. I was trying not to cry. The water that's coming from Southwest Boone County Water Association main line, the 2-inch line, as well as the 6-inch line that runs in that area has a problem, okay? And we've been saying this now since before November. We're asking that this board do the right thing. And Mr. Pledger, you on tape said that you personally would get back with us. We told you on the 26th that there had been now lied to. We spoke openly. You can see the video on the Transparency in Government, the entire video. We're trying to lay our entire hand out in our home so that you can see it. We're not trying to nitpick or get $1 for something that's not right. And you yourself said that you would respond, the board. And that's all we asked for. We've received this response that does not answer any of our questions. An example of that is the many people scouring those websites looking for this issue, and then we receive in the mail, certified mail today, this envelope with only partial information. So, see, you need to understand what Dr. Billy Ray Lewis is telling you about the Freedom of Information Act. Because at this point right now, Senator Key and the Attorney General is aware that you violated our rights in this community. We don't want to be adversarial, but you need to take action. And I don't believe, my husband included, that we're going to get it done, because based on what we just observed with his, now we know it to be his wife, we asked a simple question, and the man used profanity towards me. And that's when my husband come. And that's why, Miss Turner, I asked you who that lady was. If she's sitting behind there looking at our records, at our...
She's not looking at them. She's just...
She still has access. Okay. You get my point. Okay. We received this and an article of bylaws need to reread. And then Stephen has one last question.
Doug, I understand you gotta be licensed by the Board of Health. Do you have that displayed on the, at the office?
We'd like a copy of that number.
I don't know what it is.
You don't know your number?
Can we get that information?
Okay. Thank you.
Let me ask you a question. If you say he has to be licensed,
Yes.
Doug, are you licensed?
Yes.
When was the last licensing review?
It's reviewed every 2 years.
And when was the last time it was reviewed?
It will be in 6/30 of 13.
We would like to have that before we leave here. We would like some response from this board. We invite you to come to our home and look at what we're living through.
Okay, we have had 2 more guests. Do you have a report for us?
A brief one.
Okay.
I'm Craig Corder with the Arkansas Department of Health, and this is also Charlie Holt with the engineering section. We have oversight on the public water systems, and we just kind of got involved actually this morning, so we're not going through a lot of history, but what we did do this morning is we went out there, we looked around the site, we took a chlorine test kit, and we ran around and grabbed some chlorine samples off various places. There should not be any significant chlorine residual in the groundwater, and we did find some 0.1, 0.11 residuals in the road ditch on the south side of the highway there. So
Is that significant? Is that significant?
It's, if it was a 0.03, 0.02, 0.05 maybe, that might be like a false, the test is not 100% perfectly accurate.
Standard deviation?
Yeah, it might be down that range. But once you start getting up much over 0.05, it's like, well, is there something there that's showing up as an oxidizer, that's showing chlorine or whatever, that's showing up the test?
Have you all been asked before by the water board or Doug to do this?
No.
Don't you think you should have, maybe? Would you comment on that? Should you by now, maybe, have been asked?
Mr. Croto,
Well,
this
sure.
is Dr. Billy Ray Lewis that lives up Lewis Lane.
Mhm.
We were talking to you about Mr. Womack up Lewis Lane that's lived there 68 years, and he attested on video that he's never seen anything like this. And you could, walk exactly, see where the water line runs and where that thing is. Anyway, I wanted you to
I'm
meet
at
Dr.
the end of that road.
He's at the end of that road.
What should happen in general with the water system, if they get a customer complaint that says, hey, you've got a leak, we got a lot of water out here, they should go out and investigate. That's,
But that wasn't done with you all, was it?
no,
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 it was-
that would be, they called the water system, they said, and I've done this myself, I live in Little Rock, and I'd call San Arkansas Water and said, hey, you got a fire hydrant blowing water everywhere at the corner of so-and-so, and then they'll come out, and they may not rush out to that day unless it's a really severe leak, but they'll come out and look at it.
Is it normally the call made to your office, Mr. Corder, normally done by the property owner, or would it normally be done by the water board or its staff?
On most leaks, we never know about it. If this was a situation, Ms. Arvin called, had Doug gone out there and go, oh, I have a big leak right here.